go on. So here we're going to do an interview with Maggie, who's lived in Ithaca for 33 years. So she knows, she's got her finger on the pulse. And this is Tommy and Peaches, once again, one more interview. So Peaches is going to do the question.
All right, thank you. So Maggie, the foundation of the question is, if you can think about 35 years into the future, and the world is a better place, there are so many things are working for people: housing, education, general politics, the way we relate to one another, healthcare. If we can project that into the future, can you tell us through your imagination or however you think how we got there? Not how we're supposed to get there. How did we actually get there? What did we do?
Right. Okay. Well, here's my current stab at this point in time. I was talking to my granddaughter yesterday while we were walking, and telling her about an article I just had read by Bill McGibbon, who had said that we need to stop all fires. That humans, have used fires for actually more than 1 million years, longer than our species has been on the planet.
Yes.
But that it's reached a point now that we're burning so much that we're destroying. Not now, of course. This is 35 years in this is what we had done in the past.
That's right.
And so what my granddaughter said was that all we need, what she said 35 years ago, was that all we need is unity.
Great.
And that's what happened.
Great.
Finally, through the efforts of many people, including the Baha'is and other people who were figuring out that the way to do this is not to fight the enemies, but to call them in.
Yes.
That we finally unified.
Yeah.
Because actually, in that year, 2022, we had all the solutions at our fingertips.
Yes.
It wasn't a matter. It wasn't a matter of figuring things out. It was a matter of unifying.
Yes.
And we did.
Yes.
And we figured out ending the huge disparity between rich and poor, which had the effect of democratizing society. And we made sure that every child was educated.
Yes.
And we made sure every family had what they needed and every child was cared for. It was really heroic work done.
Yes.
And we just changed the way we lived. We didn't just tweak things to be a little more ecologically. We changed the way we lived. We lived together in communities which didn't require cars for every family. Cars became used at a fraction of what they're used, and we used primarily trains. And then boats run by wind.
Excellent.
Like they were 100 years ago. Some of the steps forward were steps back. Rethinking.
Yes.
So that's what I have to say.
I love that so much. Yes, I love it so much. So was it that things became just so critical that it was very difficult for people not to stop, pause, and say, okay, we have to change, not just tweak? Was that what happened? Was that the tipping point? Things became, people saw how, we're not going to make it. None of us are going to make it.
Yeah.
Is that part of what happened to bring that on, the change on?
Well, I'm so aged now. I must be 110 at this point, so my memory isn't that good.
That is great. I love it.
So I would think that was a big contributing factor you know Peaches as a Baha'i. I think that many of the principles that Baha'u'llah and Abdu'l-Baha laid down of the need to look at every human as a spiritual being,
Nice. Yes.
that enough people
Yes.
were able to do that, and the ramifications of
Yes.
that, and understand the ramifications of that,
Yes.
that things were able to move forward
That's wonderful.
in the way that they needed to move.
Yes. I love that. And I love that you said enough people. Because that's really all it takes is enough people.
Yeah.
It doesn't
yeah.
take all people necessarily.
Right.
Enough people.
Right.
The same way it takes all people are not doing the bad things in life. There's just enough of them.
Exactly.
That is make so it can work the opposite way as well. Yes.
That's
so
such a
beautiful.
good point.
Yeah.
It really isn't that many people
No, it is
who
not.
are making these decisions.
It is not. No.
Yeah.
It's not. So all we need is enough to make the other kind of decision.
That's
so that's
right.
a perfect expression to use.
Yeah.
You know. And it's a reachable decision. You see, when we think we have to change every single mind, then it seems daunting.
Right. Right.
If we think we have to change enough minds,
yeah,
it's much more
it
tangible.
might be 10%.
That is exactly right. That's right, Maggie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it was Margaret Mead,
Mm-hmm.
the sociologist who discovered it. 4% of a population is enough to tip a balance.
Oh, okay.
I love that. Very
Yeah.
good. I love that.
And that when we were showing those movies on the history of race in the United States, and we tried to show them to a good 5 or 6% of the population of Tomkins County,
Yes.
to see if we couldn't tip the balance
Nice.
in the county to make sure that this was this became part of policy. Everybody was thinking about it.
That's right.
That was the thinking. They were using those old sociological studies.
Very nice. Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting because even now when you look at things like the louder voices are, let's say, just for an example, the louder voices are the voices that are forcing war and forcing hate and forcing the destruction of the planet. And there are so many people who don't want to go along with that, but they become silenced by it. It's not that they agree with it. It's like everybody in Russia does not agree with what's going on.
Right.
But you have enough power that the people who want to resist are afraid to resist.
Yes.
Well, the same thing can happen in any community, that enough voices are raging for war and most people don't want it, but they're silent. So if we can get more voices pushing for peace, even if the people are not in agreement with us, they will become more silent about it.
Yeah.
And then we can get the work done.
Right.
It's very interesting.
Right. Yeah, I like that perspective.
We're an interesting animal.
Yeah.
We really are.
And I did one more thing.
Yes.
I'd like to say is the way it is now that I love is that not only have we ended all the fires,
Yes.
and we no longer use fossil fuels for anything, and it was a societal decision. It's not depending on a few rich people buying an electric car. But we've made things beautiful again.
Yeah.
We no longer build for money. Money is no longer the driving force.
Yes.
Greed is no longer the driving force between for development.
That's right. Very good.
Now the force is a group of people are actually thinking how to make life work well for humans.
Absolutely.
and the biosphere, and how can we make things beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
So we're moving. It might take a few more 100 years because it's a lot of ugly buildings from the previous 100 years.
That's right. That's right.
But we're moving towards a more beautiful world.
Yeah, I love that.
We might need a few fires to take out some of those buildings.
Right.
Just a few more.
Just a few more. That's it. Right, exactly. And they'll promise
Now,
never
those
do
buildings aren't built.
Bad joke.
The ugly ones aren't built with wood.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that idea. It always makes me think of like the concept of like getting closer to Eden. I love that concept. Yeah. It's like we're everywhere. There are fruit trees and food and plant, like everything that you need,
Yeah, not only
that.
the buildings, but as you say, because we won't have all the parking lots and all the roads and all of that. We'll be able to fill it with edible trees that grow edible fruits that people can pick.
And that's right.
The food will have so much room, and people will be able to actually grow enough food to feed each community.
That is exactly right. That's right.
And each community will actually take responsibility. Has taken responsibility for everyone in their community.
And in this great future, talk a little bit about what it does for the waters on this planet that we need to survive. What are the waters, like the oceans and the lakes and the rivers?
So the plastics will be over. We will garden and farm in ways that aren't sending all this toxic runoff into the waters. We can, if we have enough people, we can restore because right now so much of the, we've lost so much of our native forests and vegetation. We can restore it. We can restore it. We have the seed banks.
Yeah, we do.
And so that's we're in 35 years, we're in the process of doing it.
I love that. And the earth helps you. Because the earth wants to be restored.
Yes.
The earth has its own life that it wants to live out. So it helps you do that.
Yes.
It's really amazing.
That's so true.
If we just leave it alone, it would.
That is exactly right.
You don't have to do
We'll
too
need
much.
a little help. Like we have to pull out some of the very aggressive invasives.
Yes.
To give a chance to some of the natives.
The unnatural invasive, right? Because
she had to get that little dig in there.
No, it's true, but it's the unnatural aggressive, because nature always has its aggressive that it balances off by itself, right?
That's right.
It's like it's kind of like the ocean really cleans itself ultimately, and the creatures down there. Some creatures will eat other creatures that do, But when we put that unnatural invasion in there, they don't know what to do with it. So it's interesting. But life wants to be brought back.
That's right. That's right. And we'll give a huge assist.
Yes,
exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
So we could go into details like the fishing industry. It won't be this huge industry. We can grow. There are ecological ways of growing seafood.
Yes.
In the sea that doesn't rely on fishing in order to feed the commercial fish.
That is exactly right.
Yeah. So.
And I imagine, just in terms of I imagine as you're speaking, I imagine that if we can start the process of replenishing, right? So not only do we replenish the earth and the waters by taking out the invasive stuff that we put in there and letting them work on their own, it's like the body, right? We are also replenishing our own health by living more healthily, and we may not need that kind of supply because we will be at our best health because we're eating naturally. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And our body does work for us.
Yes.
It only doesn't work for us when we don't allow it to work, just like the ocean, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What I imagine happened, because my memory, as an 110-year-old, I don't remember so well, is that we needed and were able to supply the world with many more doctors.
That's right.
But at this point, the need for doctors is going down as our health.
That is exactly
as poverty is being eliminated, and our health is increasing, and as the food industry is no longer motivated by greed.
That's right.
It's motivated by restoring health to human beings.
Yes. And the foods themselves will be richer in the nutrients and vitamins and the minerals that they need.
Right.
It would change everything.
Yeah.
It did, obviously.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's great to think about these things. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. It's lovely to think about the possibilities.
It is. We have been so, I always think we have been given this amazing planet. Really, that just
when you
was
think of the universe
set up so nicely for us.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, it was set up so well, and we didn't do the right thing. We just didn't.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was fabulous.
Thank you. Thanks so